Happy holidays from the old school gun school. 'Tis the holiday season, and our phone has been pretty busy going these last few days because more people are out and about. They're out shopping, they're out seeing family and friends. Uh, could there be anything dangerous out there this time of year? And yes, not just the snow and the ice and the wind and the rain, but other dangers because the predators are still there. We talked about that in the middle of the summer during our travels, but it's different during the summer. The predator generally doesn't live in a nice warm house. He's on the streets. And so he's still on the streets when it gets to be November and December. So pretty cold and maybe not on the streets, maybe more like under the bridge, but still there's no heat under the bridge. And so they have certain needs. And so because they're not, don't have a job, not willing to work, their job is to convince you should give them what they have. And so that's the biggest problem we're facing now is the predator. And so with that, I've got some notes with me for the last calls these days. I'll keep myself on notes, and this is a good time for you to make some notes. So if you have something to write with, this would be a good idea. Make some notes. Those notes will come in handy if you ever have to explain to somebody else what you do or don't know about safety, because we'll have it recorded right here. Okay, so happy holidays to all of you. And Merry Christmas. We're sending you holiday greetings from the old school gun school. And so this time of year is different than the middle of the year. In the middle of the year, it's summertime and people are out and about traveling around. And is there any predator troubles? Yes, there are. We addressed that in the summertime. Does it change when it gets to be wintertime, and especially the holidays? Well, yes, it does. And so we've been fielding those calls here at the office. And so we thought, why not put a video together? And the video can answer some of those questions that we get oftentimes over the phone. And so that's what today will be all about, a little information on what's different for family safety then. So let's start with inside the home. And so if you're inside the home, I also made some notes. So I brought my notes with me so I wouldn't miss anything. This would be a good time for you to take some notes. And so if you've got a way to do that, get a pad of paper and a pencil or a laptop, something, and record what you do today, because this then becomes documentable evidence of your training. If you ever have to substantiate your training in a house, if you ever have to substantiate your training in a court of law, this will be a big help towards that. And so let me look at my notes, and I wish everybody out there happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We look forward to this time of year. Everything changes. We're out traveling. Don't spend much time at home. And so others are traveling to see us, or we're traveling to see them, but put a lot of road miles on this time of year. And so what's the problem? Well, the problem is the predators work year round. The predators have needs year round. In the summertime, they live on the street. In the wintertime, as it is now, they're still on the street. They don't have some nice, warm, cozy home to go home to. But maybe they're not on the street. Maybe they're under the bridge, which is even worse. And so they need resources. And so we call these guys the resource predators. Because what do they need from you? Resources. Money, stuff they can trade for money, stuff they can trade for to keep them comfortable, for food, maybe even warmth and lodging, and certainly illicit drugs and all is all. And so that's what we have to answer and become aware of during our travels this year. Okay, it's a rough time of year if you're a bad guy because everything's colder and it's harder to get. So they're working overtime. If you were to be confronted, let's say this afternoon, it's not his first time. No. Highly likely not his first time today. And so today could be of another source, maybe more than once today. And so he's practiced, he's drilled. I think we should be practiced and drilled with what we're going to do. So if today was that day, when we meet up with Mr. Bad Guy out there in the parking lot somewhere, what's your plan? And so this is all about creating some of that plan. So we'll talk more about that as we go along with this series. So the problem is, now bad guys don't have much place to go, and it's pretty uncomfortable out there. And so the problem is, they want resources from us. So what do we do if we come up against that resource? Okay. Remember, the bad guy, he picks the time and the place and the circumstances. You certainly don't. You're not out there making plans to find a bad guy. No, but he's looking for you. And he doesn't want it to be complicated. These guys are not warriors. They're like a playground bully. He simply wants to get something without having to put forth a lot of effort. So he's looking for low-hanging fruit, the easy ones. So the help with this series will be, maybe if you know more about this, you've got methods to keep from being the easy one. And so I'll get back to my notes. And so you and I become prime targets for that man on the run this time. And so let's take a look at this. We're on the roads, holiday traffic, we're visiting relatives, we're out shopping. Maybe we have modified work hours because after that we're out shopping again. We do a lot of shopping this time of year, which puts us away from home in shopping malls and other situations. And inside the home though, we're doing more receiving. That's right. And so we might get a thing or two from Amazon or UPS over the year, but wow, when it comes to be Christmas, other stuff gets sent to us and we send our stuff to them. And so be aware of how that's going to be at home. Don't be too over anxious to just fling the door open. If somebody knocks on the door, oh, they'll knock on the door. It must be the Amazon guy. It must be UPS. No, not necessarily. And so have a drill with what you can do with that. So if they're going to knock on the door, I'd politely say, hi, thanks for the package. Just leave it right there on the doorstep. I'll pick it up later. Rather than being, oh, but I don't want to leave it here. Some porch pirate might get it. I know. Doubtful if you're right inside the house. And besides that, why open the door if you don't have to? Give him plenty of time to go away and be far, far away before you open that door. And so that's a tip that you'll need to use. And so in the middle of all of this, we're looking for, where would those predators come from? How can we recognize them? And so, well, be aware of your circumstances. If it's time to leave the house, all right, now we're going to get together and we're going to leave the house. Why do we have to leave the house? Because we got shopping to do. We got to visit friends and family. And so sometimes shopping is just down the street. Other times it could be other places where we would have to travel, maybe for an hour or two, maybe for longer. And so if you're traveling, does that give us a new set of circumstances? Yes, it does. And so being armed while you're at home. And so Glenda's made some notes on this. And so Glenda, being armed at home, that sounds a little bit hard, but is it really? I mean, couldn't we be armed inside our own home?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't know when or where danger's going to come, and you don't want to have the gun in the bedroom when you're in the living room and trouble comes to you.
True. And so when trouble comes, it'd be nice to have that within reach, huh? And so if it's all locked up someplace else, nice and secure, I get that part. I want to be secure. But if it's so secure that I can't get it, it's not doing me any good. And so have a plan. Now, one plan would be to carry it. It could be in your holster inside the house. That's one place. That was always with you as you go place to place. Or put it within lunge range of what entry point. So it could be there close to the entry point. And so keep the house locked up. Ooh,
okay, but if you leave it around, for us, it's just us and the dog. So we don't have any unauthorized people around like Aunt Mabel or kids. So you have to take that into consideration as well.
Very good point. And so the house should be locked up because otherwise you've got Christmas music playing on the stereo, maybe so, and things going on. Could a predator come and sneak his way into an open doorway? Yes, he could. And so for that, this time of year especially, keep the house buttoned up. And so, what, I got to live behind locked doors? That's where you got the darn locks, to keep you safe, so use them. And so keep the house locked up and keep it a part of your safety plan.
We have a little bit of an advantage. Many of you may know that we have Bullet, the Wonder Dog. So he's a really good alarm system for when people come to the door for deliveries or trying to sell us their services. So he's a good indicator that something might not be right.
And an alarm system is a good idea. Investigate that. Sometimes your internet service and other places will have an alarm system. something, because something to protect you from unauthorized entry, even when you're home or when you're not home. And so, yes, having that is a good idea. And it can also be set, and some of the alarm systems will allow you to set the alarm while you are inside. And so then you're safe as pie, and you have some. With us, it's the dog alarm. And so you cannot get within a house or two of us without the dog letting me know somebody's out there. And so that's an encouragement as well. And so we love the dog alarm for more reasons than one. But I no longer have to, what noise was that? I don't have to worry about those noises anymore because the dog worries about them for me. And so, and not just any dog. If you're going to do that, we should talk about that at another time. But the dog that is generally comes natural to be a protective dog and not just a pet.
And another good idea, yeah, even when you're around the house, is to have a phone close by. And especially when you go to leave, and make sure it's charged up.
Yes, have that phone close by. We're no longer in the world of landlines, sort of hardwired phones, and it's that cell phone. We all have the cell phone, and so keeping that with you. I might have to not have to tell you to do this because you're probably doing it already. We're never very far from our cell phones oftentimes, but that way, if you need to reach out, you've got a way to do that. And so consider before leaving the house, bring that cell phone and bring it with you. And so, yes, by all means. When it comes time to go, how are you going to leave? If you're leaving out the door, then give that some thought. Some of us don't leave from the door, but they leave from a garage. And so as we leave the house, you might leave the house through a walking door that goes into the garage, or even a side door to the house that leads to a detached garage, and through a walk door in that detached garage. And so keep your head on straight, keep a good look about you so that you know what you're walking into. And then once you get to the vehicle, lock it up, get in, lock it up, and then exit the area. If you're exiting the area in a vehicle, and most of them would be, we're not going to take the bus too often. And so education with that is that if we're going to leave the house, then up goes the garage door. We've got a full view of what's out there. If it doesn't look good, close the darn door again. But we think it looks pretty good. So, okay, the door's open, the garage door. Out you go. Keep your head on a swivel. Look to the left, look to the right, and keep an eye on that rear view mirror that while you're leaving the garage, nobody's coming out of the bushes to sneak back into the garage. And so thinking then that it's down and safe, then push the button on the automatic opener and down goes the garage door. Now you have a secure house and a secure garage, and on about your deals.
And it's a good idea when you get in the car to make sure that it's locked. Some of the cars today, as soon as you get in and close the door and put the key in the ignition, they lock, or turn the engine on, they lock. Mine does not. It will only lock when it is engaged, going forward or in reverse. The rest of the time when you put it in park, it unlocks. So I get in a habit of locking the door as soon as I get in. Our Suburban, it doesn't lock unless you lock it. So things to consider. There are a lot of people out there on street corners looking for a handout, and it's why invite trouble when it's simple to just lock the door.
And where is that vehicle? And so if it's inside the garage, would it be possible to back the car into the garage? You got plenty of time to do that. You're washing your mirrors. The idea of somebody sneaking in, not going to work too good for him. And so into the garage it goes with the hood pointed for the exit. Because when it does come time to leave, up goes the garage door and drive out. Otherwise, you're backing out of the garage. If there's some little kid back there on a skateboard, could he be missed? Maybe so. Other things, yes, backing out to where? Backing out to the street. Is there traffic in the street? So backing out has its own troubles. So if possible, take the time to back into your garage. So when you leave, it's very straightforward. Just pull right out and onto the streets. Or if there's no garage where you are and you're parked on your property, then consider parking in such a manner that manner means that the hood's pointed to the exit. And you don't have to jockey around and move around or back out of your place into the traffic. And so if you nose out and keep going, that's the far safest thing to do. Next consideration as you leave, is it just you? And so if you're alone in the car, that's one set of circumstances. But what if there are other people traveling with you? Other adults, maybe children. Children to be cared for, children to be buckled into their car seats, things like that. And so two or more adults traveling together, probably safer. Because again, the predators are not warriors. They're looking for something simple. And the whole idea of safety in numbers, yes. Not that you'll both be there for the fight, but the guy wants a simple thing to do. He doesn't want to have to confront two different people. He doesn't know or trust you. And so he doesn't know what to do from there. And so if there's two of you, then you have other options. But one of you, then it's up to you to keep your head on that swivel, look around, and be sure of what's going on. Head directly out for your street, and out you go. Out you go to where? Wherever your destination was. Maybe you're headed for the shop. Maybe you're headed for the post office. Maybe you're headed to pick up something from UPS. Maybe you're headed to work or seeing friends. There's lots to do out there. And so take a good look around. Convince yourself that the street and that your destination is safe as you go along.
Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for our next one, which will be driving to your destination and how to stay safe.
Yes, by all means, how to stay safe. And so far, we've given you some tips on how to get into the car, how to get the car pointed in the right direction to exit and onto the street. Now you're headed off to a destination. So next time we get together, we'll talk about arriving at the destination and the safety tips we have for that. Thanks for listening.